All right, just got out of Call of the Wild. All right, so first of all, I have seen great movies with animals. I've seen Homeward Bound is a great movie with animals. Granted, they're talking, but unlike The Lion King, they're not moving their mouths. And also, unlike The Lion King, they're actual animals. Now, you hear their, I guess, inner voices, and it works pretty well for the Homeward Bound. Another one would be Milo and Otis, although that's got weird connotations with it now that have come out. But in any event, take the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg. The opening scene has the dog grab him a beer and do all this stuff, and it's kind of a cute scene, and the dog's there, and you're like, okay, I like this. What was that Liam Neeson movie? The Grey, with the wolves. Most of the wolf scenes in that are CGI, and if they are all CGI, then props to them, because they used it sparingly. But, I don't know. Back to this movie. Call of the Wild is a really, really good movie that is horrifically ruined by a cartoon animal. The CGI for the dog never looks like it's in its environment. It looks overly saturated, sometimes desaturated. When it interacts with real world things, there's clearly this is not connecting. These worlds are not the same. And that it's just a cartoon animal. It makes all the animals make expressions that I'm a dog owner. I know my dog makes expressions and things like that, and I can see what it's thinking. I know those real dogs and real canine actors can do that. I've seen it in movies before. I don't understand why they made it CGI. I can't imagine it was cheaper, because you got to pay an artist, and the physics and animals look good. They just don't fit with the story, and they don't fit with the environment, how they're done, and it takes you out. Like, every scene that's away from Buck the dog, and pretty much just Buck the dog, every scene that's away from the dogs, all the dogs, is good. Harrison Ford crushes it. Even though when he's directly interacting with Buck, there's clearly I am talking to a tennis ball look on his face. And it ruins his acting performance. When he looks away from the animal and kind of has those talk off in the distance to the person right next to you scenes, it's really good. But as soon as he looks at the animal, you're like, okay, he's clearly looking at nothing. There's no expression, or the expression's wrong. That's not how you would interact. If they had a real animal, it would have been so much more heartwarming and engaging. But the whole thing's a cartoon. It's terrible. So you have this great script, great acting. I can't remember who the actors are of the male people, but they're really good. But again, when they interact directly with the animals, it's just dumb. Now that we live in the world of Disney Plus, this movie should have been Disney Plus all day long because of the CGI. It reminds me of Lady and the Tramp. It's just, I don't know. Harrison Ford is great, absolutely great. The scenes that you see are great. I understand that there are some things animals can't do because it's dangerous, and they rightfully shouldn't. However, you can do some of those scenes, and then CGI the danger around it, and that would have been phenomenally better. But the whole time that Buck's in danger, or Buck's doing something heroic or proud or wow, you're not put into it, or even when he's being comical, you're not put into it, because that's not a real animal. They're not doing anything. I don't know how I feel about this movie. I did a double header today, so if you watch my last review, you're going to recognize the same getup. And I figured I'd review both since traffic is horrific today, so I'll have plenty of time. But I watched Downhill last. I just watched this one. I'm just like, both of these movies were just movies. I was on a roll too. I've seen some good movies. Granted, the one before that was Doolittle. both of these movies are better than Dolittle, but also not. Like, at least Dolittle, with all their CGI, is like, hey, we're a ridiculous movie. Get with it. Okay. This movie is like, hey, we are a beloved story that everyone loves, and we got Harrison Ford, and he's putting his all into this. Like, he's hurt from his past, and they don't over-explain his past. I'm like, props to that. And with the male people, when they're trying, I keep saying male people, it's like the I don't even know what it's called, the people who deliver the mail, it's a couple that presumably a couple, yeah, definitely a couple, but they're good in it. All the other actors are good. There's a scene where Buck is being taken from Bradley Whitford that should be emotional and scary, but it's not, because it's a cartoon. It's just ruined. I don't know why. I don't know why they made him CGI. The only reason I could possibly think is Harrison Ford's definitely the biggest actor there. He probably was like, yeah, I'll do this movie and I'll give it my all. And he probably had passion with the movie, but I feel like, yeah, but we got to be done. We got to be done in like 10 days or I'm out. Like, well, we'll just have him interact with nothing and then maybe we'll figure it out in post. I feel like that's how the movie was done. I don't know. It has such great care to the actors, and they're done so well, and the story's good. If you just had the animals be real, you could get a lot of the same expressions that you want out of real animals. Anyways, I've been ranting on this. I think it's going to be another 6 out of 10. Like, the story and the acting is so good that it overwhelms the cartoon aspect. I'll probably never watch this movie again. It's a good Disney stream movie. Maybe if my hypothetical eventual kids that I always talk about want to watch it, I'll watch it, but I don't know. There's so many better versions of this. Well, apparently I'm getting a call. That's rude. What else? Oh, apparently both movies I watched were both Fox Searchlight Pictures, and they're both TSG Entertainment Pictures, which I just thought that was interesting. And it hurts me so deeply that Fox is no longer on the logo. I wish they were. All right, that's my review.